I've been getting a lot of complaints from people that I use the term ladies and gentlemen too much. So from now on, I'm going to call you guys friends and or um, people of all genders, for those of you guys who are easily triggered or offended. So, people of all genders, or friends, and or friends, if you fit into either category. I ask you the following question. Here it comes. You ready? You ready for the question? Okay, here comes the question. What is the difference between the ministry of... You already know where I'm going with this. You already know. Yes, Michael Brenner, you know where I'm going with this. What is the difference between the Ministry of Higher Education, not and, but comma, Minister of Water, versus the Minister of National Infrastructure, comma, Energy and Water, or National Infrastructure, comma, Energy and Water? So I was taking a guess, and I was saying to myself, well, the guy who's Minister of Higher Education, comma, Minister of Water, he's the Minister of the Water that, comes out of the water fountains of Hebrew University, Tel Aviv University, Ben Gurion University of the Negev, Bar Ilan, well, not the online open university, that's online, that doesn't count. Maybe the water that comes out of your house when you're sitting learning online. What's the other? Haifa University, Al-Quds. I don't know if that counts. I think that's administered under the PA. So, Herzliya, yeah. What do they call that? IDC Herzliya. So maybe that guy, in this case, I'm sorry, not Yuli, Zev Elkin. I mixed up my Russians. Zev Elkin was given the Minister of Water and the Minister of Higher Education. So maybe he's just in charge of the water that flows in all of the universities, right? As opposed to the Minister of National Infrastructure, Energy, and Water, Yuval Steinitz, who's just Ministry of all the water. So like the water that flows in the Kinneret and all these other places. Yuval Steinitz, yes. Okay, so he was previously, let's take a look what he was. He was previously, he was a minister. He was a kind of a, I know this guy, I met him. He's like a government lifer. He's like Minister of Finance, he was Minister of Intelligence, International Relations, Strategic, which I guess they closed that ministry, not the Minister of Foreign Affairs, but International Relations, whatever the heck the difference is. Minister of Strategic Affairs. And now he is the minister. Okay, so he remains the Minister of National Infrastructure, Energy, and Water, which was, I guess, a ministry that was around for, a certain period of time. That has been around for a while. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you guys have been watching or noticed. Basically, Bibi, in his deep desire to remain in his megalomania, in his deep desire to, be the leader of the state of Israel, he decided that he's going to create a bunch of ministries that he will give, positions to people in these ministries as head of these ministries, in exchange for basically them agreeing to, sit in his cabinet, in his government, because, Israel needs a government, right? So I'm just going to name a few of these that I could be wrong, but I've never heard of these ministries that they created. And we'll count how many new ministries that were created, as a result of this new government. Okay, so you have something called, which I don't really know what this is. I'm going to have to look into this. The Ministry of Community Empowerment and Advancement. Ladies and gentlemen, this sounds like something... Oh, wait, I said ladies and gentlemen, my friends. This sounds like something that... you would find in the city of New York, like some in like an inner city community or one of these, or something that like Obama was doing, like what do they call it? Community organizer, right? So Orly Levy Abukassis, I guess that lady, the very nice looking, easy on the eyes lady, who is now in politics, Orly Levy Abukassis, who's head of the Gesher party, which means bridge. She used to be part of Israel Beitenu, Lieberman's party. So she's basically by herself. And they gave her what's called the Ministry for Community and Empowerment Advancement. It's basically a ministry that did not exist until, what's today's date? Today's date is the 18th. So until 4 days ago, it didn't really exist. Here, 1 second, guys. I'm just going to move this here. Okay, fine. So let's read. Is the governmental department responsible for communal development in the state of Israel? The ministry is responsible for, among others, for the Anti-Violence and Anti-Drug Authority, the National Child Protection Network. Okay, fine. A city without violence project, and various projects to strengthen the Arab sector. Its political head is the Community Empowerment and Advancement Minister of Israel, and its offices are located in Jerusalem. My friends, I guess this is worthwhile having, annual budget, 20 million shekels. So my friends, 20 million shekels is like, you know what, let's do the math. 20 million divided by, or 20 divided by, what's the exchange rate today? 3.45, something like that. Let's see. So the annual budget is not that big. But the thing is, my friends, like if you count all of the new ministries that we created here in Israel, for the purpose of Bibi having his megalomaniac, his government, his working government, cabinet, it might amount to about $1 billion. Let's see. Okay. So you're talking about 1 second, 20 million shekels. So their budget is not that big every year. You're talking about a little, like $5.67 million a year. That's actually not a lot of money per year for their budget. Fine. Next ministry we haven't seen. Construction we had. Communications. Let's take a look. I don't know if we had it. Okay, no. 1952. Minister of Cyber and National Digital Matters, Dudi Amsalem. Ladies and gentlemen, there I go again. I guess this is important. It doesn't link to anything. It doesn't say what this ministry will be responsible for. Then we have something called Minister in the Defense Ministry. Not the Minister of Defense, but Minister in the Defense Ministry. Michael Biton, a Moroccan gentleman whose parents immigrated from Morocco. So what is this? What is this thing? Nobody knows, doesn't say. Okay, that's already 3. Then we have Minister, Environmental Protection. Did we have this before? Minister of the Environment. Okay, fine. We already had this. We created this in the year, 1988. Minister of Finance, Foreign Affairs, fine. Minister of Health, Minister of Higher Education, Minister of Water. Yeah, so this one I don't really understand. I guess I could say Minister of Higher Education, like the minister responsible for like all the universities and stuff like that, but like, or what goes on in the universities. So I guess that's important, and we have a Likud person, that's good. But why? What does that have to do with Minister of Water? I don't really understand. Okay, so that's already like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 ministries that were created that nobody knows really what their job is. Minister of Intelligence. Let's take a look. It was 2009. Fine. Okay, Interior Minister of Development of Negev and Galilee. Okay, we had this for a while. Minister of Jerusalem Affairs. Okay, fine. Since 1988. Fine. Minister of Labor, Social Affairs, and Social Services since 1940. Okay, that was like one of the first ones. Minister of National Infrastructure, Energy, and Water. We had this basically. My friends, I don't really know when this started. I guess it started now. Minister of Internal Security, Amir Ohana. Okay, 1948, fine. Minister of Regional Cooperation, Minister of Settlement Affairs. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think the only worthwhile ministry that we have created in this entire thing. Let me just go on real quick, and then I'll talk about that. Okay, Minister for Social Equality. Wow. Okay, we had this since 2006. Strategic Affairs, Minister of Information. Okay, so we basically created 4 or 5 new ministries out of thin air. Some of them have the same job as other ministries. But my friends, we created one worthwhile new ministry. It's called the Ministry of Settlement Affairs, and it will be headed by this woman by the name of Tzipi Hotovely. She is a religious Dati Leumi, national religious woman whose parents immigrated to Israel from Georgia, from Republic of Georgia, the former Soviet Union. And I think it's good. I think that if we're going to annex the Judea and Samaria, I think that to have a minister, a person who's a liaison between the government and the communities in Judea and Samaria I think it's great. And a person who speaks their language, understands the language, yeah, fantastic. But my friends, I think that in general, if you ask me, due to the fact that Bibi had to create all these ministries, or the government had to create all these ministries to give to people, just to have a cabinet, due to the fact that we had the strongest ally that Bibi had in the right-wing coalition, in Naftali Bennett, in Yamina, in the other, essentially what I call Likud Light, or the Dati version of Likud, that basically left the coalition and is now sitting in the opposition. I think, my friends, that this government, this is just my humble opinion, you can take me to task on this if it doesn't happen in the time frame that I say it will happen. This government will not last past either the 17th of Tammuz or the 9th of Av. My friends, you can write that down. You can mark my words and you can write that down. What people are conveniently, or maybe willingly, actively, or maybe kind of are in denial about is the fact that Bibi, the Prime Minister of Israel, in how many days? 6 days, less than a week, has a trial coming up. Sunday. You know what they say in those, what is it, the monster truck rallies? Sunday, be there. May 24th, Sunday, is the first day, is the kickoff, as my friend likes to call it, the Sunday kickoff of Prime Minister Netanyahu's wonderful trial for corruption. So you may say this is a farce. You know, what they're taking him to task on is a farce. It's a joke. It's just, you know, what is it called? The deep state of Israel, just like they're doing to Trump. My friends, okay, you may be right, but it doesn't matter. The point is, the Prime Minister of Israel will have a very public trial very, very soon, and it may come to the point where it may be such a distraction that maybe, just maybe, the President of Israel, Ruvi Rivlin, will grow a backbone and he will come to the Prime Minister and he will say, listen, man, this freak show, this charade is a busha. It's an embarrassment. People are watching this. They're watching the news about it, even if it's closed, whatever. We don't know if it's going to be open or closed. You know, open to the media. It's a farce. It's an embarrassment. You're not able to rule. It's a distraction. You know what, man? You're 70 years old, you know, and, you know, I don't mean to be ageist here, you're 7 years old. He may come to him and say, "Listen, man, like, step down. I'll pardon you. I'll make this all go away. We'll just, we'll just cease the whole thing. We'll put a cease and desist order on all this stuff. Make this all go away. Just go, step down. Go to your house, your nice house in Khazaria. Hang out for a little bit. Let someone else take the reins. Let someone else be a steward. A steward. Steward, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen." At least I'm saying ladies. I have respect for women. Let someone else be the prime minister and usher in a new era in Jewish education, in the government, in business, in economics. And then, after I'm done, I meaning Reuven Rivlin, you can be the president, the face, the figurehead of the state of Israel. You can travel around the world, which you're doing now anyway. Well, now you're not traveling so much, but which you have been doing. And you can, nothing really much will change. You'll just be traveling around the world. You'll be loved. You'll be revered. You can shake hands with people. Maybe you wear gloves. Maybe you won't wear gloves. Maybe you'll keep social distancing. Maybe you won't. Trump will love you. Everybody will love you. The foreign ministers of the countries will love you. The presidents, whatever. The popes, this, that. Everything will be okay. Everything will be forgotten. Everything will be okay. You'll have a nice legacy. You'll be remembered. You'll be like the Shimon Peres of the right wing. Really. You'll be the Shimon Peres. You'll go into the night, and everything will be fine. And Israel will have a new prime minister, and it will usher in a new era. Hopefully, in my opinion, to prepare people for Moshiach. Ladies and gentlemen, you might be asking, what do you mean prepare people? How's a prime minister, how's a mortal man supposed to prepare people for Moshiach? I'll read to you guys something that was spoken about by this lady who went by the name of Yehudit. So Yehudit was a lady that spoke in the year 2005. I think she passed away since then. And she was, I believe, an autistic person. And she spoke about some of the things that would happen before the coming of the Mashiach. Ladies and gentlemen, let me read to you this laundry list of events, and you can tell me if this is crazy, or you can tell me if this half this stuff already happened, or maybe it's reality, or maybe I'm imagining things, or maybe we're living in a fantasy world, or maybe we're not living in a fantasy world. Maybe this is true. Let's take a look at what this lady by the name of Yehudit, wasn't a real name, she just went by that name in public. What she wrote about what would happen before the coming of Moshiach ben Yosef, because we have two Moshiachs, Moshiach ben Yosef, Moshiach ben David. Okay. She wrote an email to, I guess, a blogger in Jerusalem, and here was her email. Okay. Okay. Fine. Here is what she wrote. I want to say that I'm not a seer or a knower. The visions I saw were in the merit of the Zchut Avot, like the merit of our forefathers and foremothers. All the trouble in Am Israel, that Am Israel are experiencing today are a preamble before Moshiach ben Yosef is revealed. As it says about Yosef HaSadik, a blessed memory, you thought evil against me, but God meant it to be good. So it's like everything we think is bad, and like all these things are happening, machinations, in the end they're all for the best, right? Okay, here she starts. When Am Israel does not merit the Geulah, the redemption, they are like beasts till it has had its fill, and then the leadership is transferred to man, meaning like the strength of Derech HaTeva, the path of nature, the way of nature, natural law. I will sow the seed of beast and the seed of man. This man cannot operate and be known to the public unless he follows the Torah and keeps the commandments as Shlomo Melech said. King Solomon, God he'll fear, and his commandments he'll observe, for this is man. My friends, I'm just letting you know, this was written by this woman named Yehudit in 2005, 15 years ago. This man operates with all his powers for the honor of Hashem's Torah and his servant, Moshe Rabbeinu, a blessed memory. He will organize the war against nations of the world. She's talking about Moshiach ben Yosef. As well as physically fight in this war. He will correct the klipot, the husks in Kabbalah, of the exiles. Only this man is capable of doing this because of Ahavat Israel, love of Jews, like unconditional love of the Jews, and Torah Hashem, the Torah of God, is embedded in him unconditionally. Who is this man? This man is Moshiach ben Yosef. Prior to his leadership, more trouble will surface from the Arabs regarding the Green Line. Green Line is like Judea and Samaria, and their rage will burn interiorly and exteriorly. My friends, what are we ready to do? I don't know if you notice, we're like keep talking about annexation, and the more we talk about it, the more the crazier the Arabs, they start up stuff. Yeshuvim, the settlements inside the Green Line, will need to protect themselves. The public and hidden hatred toward these holy inhabitants will be intensified as well as clarified. Clarified in parentheses birur, meaning it will be clarified before Mashiach. It's going to be clarified who is with Hashem and who is not, meaning who is going in the path of God. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, you see like all this stuff. You're asking, why is politics, why is the political world, all over the Western world so polarized? Listen, I don't want to say Republican and Democrat. There's just two groups of people right now that Hashem is basically splitting into two camps. The people that are with Him and the people that are not with Him. It's called birur, or if you talk about the laws of Shabbat, borer, like, separating stuff, taking this and, dividing things, separating, potatoes from meat, beans from this. Birur, that's what Hashem is doing before Mashiach. Okay, so here are the points. These are the things with asterisks that this person is describing before, what would happen before Moshiach ben Yosef. Okay. The last governments in Israel are from the era of Rav. I don't have to elaborate. The government will be a poor leadership, which is no leadership, a non-government. My friends, I just enumerated to you all of the ministries, what I call the ministries of silly walks that were created, a la what's that show? Monty Python, which is basically a non-government. The situation would be very difficult due to severe neglect of the poor people of Israel. Okay. The economy will deteriorate. The Erev Rav, which are like basically the Jews who go against Hashem, will deceive the nation and secretly weave dangerous deals. We know what's happening. They will hand over holy places, including Jerusalem, and this will cause a storm in Am Yisrael. Ladies and gentlemen, we see this with what they're doing with Har Habayis, with Temple Mount, with other places. They try. We stop them, but they try. North of Israel will burn up from missiles from the Iranian Hezbollah with the support of Syria. They've been trying, as you see. God forbid. IDF reaction will be worthless. So you guys probably saw what happened a year after this woman spoke in 2006 against Hezbollah. I hate to use the word worthless, but pretty worthless. IDF will be very angry with the non-government. So I guess the citizens. Moshiach ben Yosef will arrive in the north. In the beginning, he will not know that he was chosen to be the first savior. He will operate through his qualifications and through his love for Am Yisrael that is embedded in him. He's very pious and has helpers with him. Through his holy bravery and courage, people of the north, as well as others, will slowly awaken and want to attach themselves to him and join him. There will be those that will oppose him, including religious Jews that follow the Torah and its commandments. He will rule from the Galil, from the Galilee. His headquarters will be in Tzfat or Tiberias. Some Talmidei Chachamim, like scholars, will begin to recognize him as the savior of Bnei Israel and will join him. Others will join him only much later. More points. He'll announce an emergency regime. My friends, I mean, it's funny. We now have actually an emergency regime. So I guess Hashem is preparing us for the times where we're just going to have like emergency governments, right? He will announce an emergency economic and secure regime because Israel will be bankrupt due to bankruptcy in America. Because America's like, so to speak, the economic backbone of the world. So a lot of our stuff also depends on deals with America, stuff like that. Not just receiving it's not about receiving money. It's just about like economic stuff and just trade deals. He will call upon the Arab states to stop striking the Jews and to recognize the sovereignty of Israel in all Yesha territories. So you guys see like what's happening with Saudi Arabia right now. Might be a precursor with Bahrain, with Oman, people like this, Egypt. He will make major changes in the army. Major portion of the high-ranking officers of the IDF will transfer their loyalty to him. So guys, if you look at the army in Israel today, you'll notice at the top, there's a lot of officers. I would say at least 50% of the officers are what's called Kippa Sruga, the Kippa Jews. But the top brass of the Israeli military are still secular Jews. Okay. In response to Qassam and rockets in northern Israel, he will give instructions to completely exterminate a city in Syria. So, my friends, this is actually predicted. This is spoken about by the prophets. Yeah, Egypt and Jordan will declare war against him. So, you guys noticed 2 days ago, King Abdullah of Jordan came out and said, "If you guys annex Judea and Samaria, you're gonna have a problem with us." Interesting. He will lead a new IDF in capturing Jordan and a half of the Sinai, which actually we gave back. He will forcibly capture Jerusalem, which we already have, but I guess Jerusalem meaning, the rest of Jerusalem and the Temple Mount and all these other places. He will announce that the government operating in Jerusalem are criminals, and he will demand to judge them according to the laws of the Jewish court. He'll put some politicians in prison, while other politicians will try to run away. There will be also politicians who will form a coalition to fight him, but he will kill them. He will scatter media and journalists and instead place his own people. He will give smicha, actual rabbinic authority, to Gedolei HaTorah to establish Chachmei Torah councilmen, like the men of the Great Assembly, like we had. He will cancel all authority and power of the Israel judicial system. My friends, I don't have to, I don't know if you guys saw what happened today. There was a settler youth kid who basically was tortured by the Israeli, I guess by the Shabak. He was forced into admitting to a crime, to a murder that he did not commit, and now today he was basically convicted for murder. He was found guilty of murder, which he confessed to because they tortured it out of him, and they claimed that he confessed to it outside of the realm or the side of the boundaries of the torture, whatever it is. It says they say it's only based on his reconstruction of the events that took place 36 hours after the torture. Still, inhabitants of the village say it was not Ben Uliel, but locals who burned the house down and killed the inhabitants, meaning Arabs, because of a long-standing clan dispute. My friends, this is just it's crazy. You could see it. See, it says there's no authority. He will cancel all authority and power of the Israeli judicial system. If you guys notice, and it was something that Mordechai Kedar mentioned in my interview with him. He said that basically the Supreme Court of Israel basically rules the entire country, and they do whatever they want, unfettered, unchecked, and they hate Judaism. They hate the very idea of a Jewish state. They hate anything that's proudly Jewish, right? See, it says, meanwhile, in America, United States will be severely struck because of their pride. The dollar will lose its value, and the inflation will severely escalate. My friends, I've been talking about this in previous podcasts. America's just, Trump is a great president. Unfortunately, he's in this position, and the people that are around him, they just started printing money like it's going out of style. And, I hate to say it, I've been talking about this the whole time. You're going to see crazy inflation in America. See, it says America will become bankrupt. The severe strikes in the U.S. will become through wars, and even more through powerful weather disasters. You could say, instead of weather, the flood can be in the form of a disease, a pandemic. The quick escalation of Moshiach ben Yosef will contribute to anti-Semitism. We see this, my friends. We see it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this person is speaking in the year 2005. Anti-Semitism will rise to unimaginable heights. Jews of the United States will be forced to flee like fugitives because those who survive the weather disasters, weather meaning could be pandemic, will not be able to survive the tremendous waves of hatred against them. We see it already with our wonderful mayor of New York and other places. The survivors will arrive in Israel with only the clothes on their backs, and Moshiach ben Yosef will reach out to help them. Throughout the process, there will be many remarkable revealed miracles. Please listen, my friends. Many are waiting for Moshiach to reveal himself, and very soon we will have the leadership. What Yehudit says is very similar to what the Holy Sfarim books say, posted it at Moshiach ben Yosef. Halavai, we should see it all come to pass and soon. So, my friends, sometimes there are people that say certain things in our nation, and you may write them off at the time that they say them, and then we look back, 10 or 15 or 20 years later, and we see that basically everything that they talked about is basically, had come to pass. I'll tell you guys something. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a seer. I'm not one of these, just one sec. Let me write to the guy. I am not one of these seers, but I will tell you guys that I already started kind of seeing this in the year 2012, and I started telling this to my family and friends, and they were kind of writing me off, and now they're seeing that I'm right. And again, for me, it was like I just read the tea leaves and the writing on the wall, and kind of put two and two together and connected the dots. It wasn't anything to do with being a seer or a navi or anything like that. In 2012, I already was saying to that we would have, and this is based on like many factors, mainly Jewish history and mainly what was going on with the Obama administration, that we would have, and also economics and different things, different factors I was looking at from like a kind of a zoomed out big picture perspective, that we would have a resurgence of anti-Semitism in America, and it would come. The only thing I knew that it would come from both sides. It would come from both the right wing and the left wing. The only thing I couldn't tell people or enumerate was how it would happen. Right? My friends were saying, "Well, what do you mean? Like America's it's not a homogeneous country. It's not full of like one type of people. One ethnicity. Kind of a you're never gonna have like what do they call it? Xenophobia in America against Jews, whatever it is." And I said to them, "Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're not going to have that. You're also not going to have like an actual what they call Holocaust. We're not going to have that again, right? But what you could have is like people from different groups hating the Jews for different reasons, hating different groups of Jews. These people hate the right-wing Jews. These people hate the religious Jews. These people hate the left-wing Jews. But when they hate the Jews, when they express their hatred, they don't say we hate the lefty Jews or we hate the righty Jews or we hate the frum Jews. They just say we hate Jews. So it's like it doesn't matter if they hate. They could hate the Williamsburg Jew, but they will also include who voted for Trump, but they will also include the the secular Jew who owns a basketball team or something like that, right? At the end of the day, my friends, Hashem is coming to show us that we are all one collective neshama, and it doesn't really matter who hates us or how we're hated, what the reasons we're hated for. If Yoli in Williamsburg and Muncie is hated, that means that Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, is hated just the same. Right? He's included in that, kind of pool, as it were. And that's it, my friends. That's really, really it. And this is what I was sensing, and I couldn't really enumerate it, or I couldn't verbalize it, because again, I didn't really have kind of a frame of reference. But then, kind of as the years went by, and especially when I moved back to America and I started seeing this. And I was warning my friends. Some of my friends said, "Yeah, you might be right, but whatever. I have my business here, and I have this here, my family, and my grandparents, and my parents, and this and that. But you see, I don't know, da da." My friends, I think at some point, especially after this pandemic will be fully over, we're gonna see a bigger increase in this, and maybe, just maybe, the people that are, so to speak, trying to fight anti-Semitism and creating all these coalitions and organizations and what have you, are going to realize that, especially the frum ones, the frum people that are doing this, they're going to go back to the old adage, Esav sonei Yaakov. They're going to realize that Esav hates Yaakov, or at least the evil part of Esav, not all of Esav, and they're going to say to themselves, you know what? Maybe it is in fact time to change the narrative, time to change the message and the educational system, and time to start pushing on our people and our communities. Maybe it's time to slowly, not tomorrow, not in a week, not in a month, but slowly prepare to have a mass exodus out of America and to make Aliyah. Not just out of America, maybe Canada, maybe Australia, maybe South Africa, maybe Europe, the rest of Europe. My friends, our sages explained to us that the last big galut, the most difficult galut, the most difficult exile will be the galut of America, which is basically the combination of all the galuts we've ever had. Bavel, Yavan, Greece, Rome. And it's actually the last galut is actually called the galut of Ishmael, because it's the galut where Ishmael, the Arab nation, comes back after being basically having nothing, having no income and no resources, and all of a sudden now they have oil, so they have this whole these funds backing them, and also Iran is included in that. So the last galut to end all galuts is the galut of Ishmael. And I think if you guys want to see a more in-depth expounding on what I'm talking about, you guys should look up Rabbi Pinchas Winston. I don't know, he sometimes spells his first name Pinhas or Pinchas, His last name is Winston, like Winston cigarettes or Winston Churchill, Winston. And he speaks about this. He speaks about the Galut of Ishmael and Moshiach and the Jews having to come home and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, my friends, listen. We have a non-government. We have a joke of a government. We have a bunch of ministries of silly walks, not WOKS like walks like Chinese, but walks like WALKS like walking. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, look up Ministry of Silly Walks on YouTube, Monty Python. I'm just waiting for it, man. Oh, you guys haven't seen, somebody made a website called ministryof.com, and you can pretty much put your name in Hebrew or in English and give yourself like a teudah, like a what is it called? Like a diploma that you get from the government for being the minister of your ministry of choosing. So I made myself the minister, Tzvi Lifshitz, the minister of wine marketing. And whatever, I have some friends that are minister of like avocados, minister of whatever, I have a good friend of mine who was born in Petach Tikva and escaped Petach Tikva and moved to America. So now he's the minister of eating bamba and escaping to Petach Tikva. Whatever, there's a lot of interesting ministries that are out there, So yeah, my friends, we're in those times. If you're doubting that we're in those times, we are in those times. Or as Billy Joel once said, this is the time to remember, and it will not last forever. Oh man, I got the last note wrong. The beginning was good. Gotta take some voice lessons, gotta practice. Anyway. Bottle, how does it go? A bottle of red, bottle of white, tonight. You can, something, how do those words go? Okay, I'm not gonna sing it now, I'm not gonna torture you guys. In the Italian restaurant. All right, guys. No more torture. No more torture for you guys. I'm signing off. Maybe next time I'll do a whole concert for you guys and come out of my shell. Oh, look, I'm in a nutshell. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. And Moshiach now.